Hello everyone, this is Tiwi from Life Bottle. You want to help us work on translating Tales of Arts Nintendo DS in English. This is where you need to start. This is the Get Started video on how you make your own setup to clone the different repository, extract the different files, and be able to make a patch. So, what we will do today is first we need to have a new folder created on your machine. I made mine called Test Art Demo. You put in there the original Tales of Arts Anime Edition, original Nintendo DS ROM. You make sure you have the same name as me, like this. Then we need to install different tools, GitHub Desktop, GitHub, Git, and Python. So let's start with Python first. You go on python.org, download. In order for this to work, you will need at least 3.9 version. So right now I'm using 3.11.6. So you can click on the download here section. You go at the bottom and you pick the Windows installer 64-bit. The only thing that you need to take care when you install Python is they will ask you if you want to add Python to the path. Please check the box and click on install now. It should be relatively easy. Next thing is you need to download Git. So you go on git-scm.com/download, and I think there will be like probably a download for Windows button. You click on it, click on 64-bit Git for Windows setup. You will have we click on next until you arrive at this section, choosing HTTPS transport. Choose the native Windows secure channel and click on next. It will install Git on your machine. After that, so I already installed Git, so I will just close it. After that, you will need to install GitHub Desktop. This will help you clone a different repository and make some commit. It will be easier for you. This is the tool we recommend to work using Git. So you will go on inside this GitHub. If you just type GitHub Desktop download, you will have an install section, and you will need to click on download GitHub Desktop. We have three different repos that we'll need to use. Today we will mostly look at the two main repo, Life Bottle, Tales of Arts, and 47-TOH Python. So TOH Python is mostly a Python library that will do anything like extracting files, compiling, decompression. It will also be the tools used to remake a patch locally so you can test it using the DS-MUM emulator. So maybe we can start cloning this repo. You take the link from the video description, you go on code, HTTPS, you copy the URL, you open GitHub Desktop, go in File, Clone Repository, URL, you paste the URL, and then you will need to choose the folder that we have created where it has our NDS from. So you select this folder. You should have something like this with the name of the repo here. Click on clone. This will take all the files from GitHub and it will clone it inside our folder here. We have the TOH Python and we see the different files there. After that, we can clone the other repository, Life Bottle Tales of Arts. We go under code, same thing, HTTPS, copy the URL, GitHub, desktop file, clone, URL, and you will have something like this. So with the name of the repo, click on clone. You can check, you make sure to wait. You want it to show you the current branch main and fetch origin, never fetch. You can leave it like this, it's fine. you go back under the test arts demo folder, and now we have two folders. If we look at the Tales of Arts DS, what we want to do now is we will want to make our Python, we need to install different Python libraries, and we want to extract the files in order to get ready when we need to make a new patch. So inside the Tales of Arts DS, we have a different folder, the disk folder, the extracted, translated, original. This zero disk folder has a git ignore, but so normally when we will run batch files later, this folder will contain all the original files from the NDS ROM. Extracted is very similar. It will take the file from disk and it will extract different archive or decompress file in order to get the final file that we are interested. And translated, normally this will be the folder that contains our final translation. They are stored using an XML format. And you see that we have different files, menu, skits, story. And this will be the file that will be used later in a future video when we will be working with the translation app. So what we can do is we go under the tools folder. We have a batch folder. We open this zip file that contains our batch. You click on next, and what you want is this folder right here. You start with the init.bat. Init.bat will create a virtual environment and will install different Python library inside this environment. So you just need to double click on this init.bat. And normally, if you see something like this, shouldn't take so long. If you see something like this, collecting blah blah blah, this is good news. It means that you have your Python installation is working fine. And right now it's finishing to install all of these. So it's like basic sets of library that are necessary in order to run the different files. And all of these other batch file, what they actually does is they use different Python files that are inside the other library. So you see here, it will go inside this TOH Python that we just cloned, and it will run this Python file that is like executable with different parameters. While it's finishing, I will just explain to you what this one does. Extract everything is basically extracting the different files from the NDS and extracting all the story file, skits file, and menu file. We can go back and take a look. Normally, if you have something like this, if it's asked you to press any key to continue, it's good news. If you see anything that is like red lines, it's probably that you have some errors and you will need to reach out to us on the Discord channel that is in the description. So the init section is done. We only need to do this step once. We need to do the extract everything bat file. We double click. So it will have a couple of steps. Normally the longer step is to extract the story files. So now it's currently extracting the ISO file. While it's doing this step, we can actually go on Details of Arts DS folder and go under the disk folder, and you will see that now we have all of these files that were created. These files will only stay on your computer and they won't be committed on the repo, so you don't need to pay any attention on that, but it's like the raw files from the repo. And we see now it's actually extracting the different story files. We have 400 files for story. And these files, they will be on extracting under the extracted section. So if we go take a look, we see that we have ARM9 data on this data. All of these files is the one used for the story. So you see there are a couple of steps and it's still working on that. We will also have another file, another folder, fc, scr, something like that for the skits. If we go back, it's still working on that. It usually take like 1 minute or two. So this extract step that we are doing right now, it's also only needed to do it once. After that, you will mostly use either the create build or create build with save. So it's finishing. And skits are faster and the menu as well. So if you have this screen, it means that everything worked fine and you can press any key to close this window. Now we have two different batch files. What will usually happen is you will translate something using the translation app. You will save your translation with the app, and then you will want to test if your translation is working properly, if the text is going outside the window or like basic stuff like that. And we really want our translator to be able to test their translation inside the game. So what we will have is we have this save file where we will have different save file from the game and at different steps, different chapters in the game. And we will document each save file, like each DSV will have three save file in it, save 1, 2, 3, and we will document them in a Google Sheet. So you know like which one you need to take if you want to test your translation. So like this Shibul Village it's one DSV that contains three save file at different moment in the first chapter of Shibul Village. And if you look under the batch folder, inside this create build with save is what it does. It You need to specify your desmum location. So it's like the basic folder for the emulator. And you need to specify the name of a save file that is inside this save folder. And then it will create a new patch using this save file. And why I say that is because normally, let's do the test without a save file, okay? And you will see what I mean. If you just create a build like this, this will recompile a different file and use the, so maybe there's a slight error. I'll just fix it. You won't have this issue. But for now, let's just do this probably like this. And I'll do the same. You won't need to do that. It just, I need to do a small fix. Normally, it will be doing this. So it reinsert the files that has been translated. By default, it always reinsert all the menu files because they are very small. And I think there in this one, maybe we don't and only add one translation yet in the XML. So that's why it has done this step. So it has created a new build for us called blah blah that is ending with 0944 the NDS. If you go on the repo, under the build folder, you will have this new NDS ROM. So this is your new NDS ROM that has all the translation. So if you open this one with the DSMUM, you go under the right folder. So we find our folder, Tales of Arts, build. We click on this. By default, it will load like this, and you don't have any save file. So you know that you will need to start from the game from scratch, and you cannot load anything. And using this emulator, what you need to do to use a save file is kind of complicated because you need to go inside the desmum folder under battery folder, and you need to make sure to copy a DSV file that has the same name of your ROM. So it's like, it's pretty manual, and we don't like things that are manual. try to make it the easiest way possible for anyone on the team. So if I use the other other batch file with save, it's similar, but the thing is, it's what it does, it takes the save file from our folder and it will copy it. It will take this one and it will copy it on in the dsmume location battery, and it will rename it to the name of the new build. So it has created a new build because every time you hit on the batch file, it creates a new build. So this new one has been built, and we can have a look under build. It's this one, 0945. And if we go on the emulator now, we can just open the latest one, and you will see it will directly open the game, and it already has our save file. So if I go, and you will see like, just to give you that, to maybe I'll just remove the file for now because it's very loud. But if you go on the custom menu, you will see some part of it are translated, like the custom at the top is translated. But if you go here, this is the save file. Right now we see we do have different file, and I know like this one, data one, if I when I will look on the Google Sheet, it will tell me, oh, this is where you just left the house and you will meet Kwaku and Isui on the beach. So if I just go on the right, I know that I will trigger the event. So if I just translated this part, I load the save file data one, and I'm already able like to go and to view this part of the game. So you see that it's very effective to test the translation. Right now, you see the name is only translated, but it's just to show you. So we have seen how to clone the repository, how to extract the files using the different batch file here. I will make a fix just to fix the path issue, but you will just need to double click for you. We also see how to create a new build that is like vanilla without any save, and one with the save file. And we have seen why it is important. In the next video, we will look at how to use the translation app and how to see like live our translation in the game. So thank you everyone and have a great day. Bye bye.